Hey guys, it's James with Frenchy Outdoors here. Welcome back to another video in the great outdoors. So as you can tell, it's raining by the sound of it against my tarp. But again, not too bad. I've got my DD Superlight tarp up and it's doing just fine. Not getting wet at all. Yeah, so today I'm going to be covering a cheap sort of solution to hammock insulation. So this is obviously just for hammocks. The products that I'm going to be, sort of recommending and stuff that I use personally, that can work for, both hammocking as well as, using a tent or a tarp and a bivy bag as well. But this is mainly geared towards hammocks. I'm probably going to make a hammock playlist, just so people don't watch it and confuse themselves. Yeah, so if you've been hammock camping for a long time, you'll know that bottom insulation is a crucial factor, as well as top insulation, and for this reason sleeping bags aren't too effective for this, and that's mainly because in the hammock you're going to be compressing the insulation beneath you, so it loses its value, so to speak, its thermal value, because there's no air to be warmed up, and you just lose it. So if you have been hammocking, then you will know about cold butt syndrome. I've got that a little bit right now. That's mainly because I've got my insulation a little bit out of the picture before I show it to you guys. Yeah, so the main product that is used, it's quite a big thing in hammocking, is underquilts or under blankets, and those can get pretty expensive. DD does one. It's not too expensive. I think it's about 35 to 40 pounds. And that clips onto all of the hammocks, so including this one here. So I'll find it later, but they have little tabs. You would have seen it in my other video. There's 4 tabs on this hammock for you to attach that specific under blanket, and many others, as they do have accommodations for that as well. However, they can get quite expensive if you go into the premium filling ones, especially down. If you know what that is, I'll not take the time to explain it. It's basically just feathers, to put it simply, but it is very light, and it packs down really well as well. Very insulating, very good insulating properties from that, but it does rack up quite a price. So from what you would have seen in my last video, the under blanket that I use, the underquilt, sorry, is just a poncho liner. It's a Dutch Army poncho liner that I got surplus. Cost me about £25, and I just used some bungee cords to turn that into an underquilt, and it works pretty well for me. It's rated down to about 10 degrees Celsius, but again, in another video I'll go on to like stacking underquilts and stuff like that to get down to lower temperatures, to go from like a 2-3 season down to 4 season. Yeah, but this is going to be just a cheap all-in-one insulation hammock insulation video. Sorry. Yeah, and you will see certain things out there like the snug-pack Hammock Cocoon. I'm not sure what the temperature rating is on that, but it's pretty simple. You literally just slip it through your suspension, and then it goes over your hammock, zips up quite nicely. It works pretty well if you have a structural ridgeline like this one now. What I'm going to be showing you probably works best without one though, just so you can get more air beneath you, because it is quite tight once you're in the hammock, and it doesn't leave much room for a diagonal lay inside a hammock, which is a crucial factor to getting a good night's sleep. But yeah, the one that I have, it's Jalert sleeping bag. It's one of the rectangular ones, or envelope as it's called. This, in my experience, doesn't work very well with a mummy sleeping bag, so it's best with an envelope. And the good thing with this is, if you progress on with your insulation, the amount of kit that you have relating to hammocks, so like personally I use this just as a top quilt. I just unzip it all the way because it is an envelope sleeping bag, so rectangular, so that affords me to be able to sort of wrap it around my sides as a top coat, and then I obviously have my undercoat. But what you can also do with this is, what I will show you now, is turn it into a cocoon, like the snug-pack hammock cocoon. And you can also unzip it a little bit if it gets too hot at night. It is pretty comfortable. I put this on, it's been pretty cold today. It's about well, it's not cold, it's about 15 degrees. Yeah, but it is quite windy today, and as you can see we've got a lot of wind. It's been raining all day. But yeah, this one, it's really easy to do because this only really works with a double zipped sleeping bag. So I'll show you that what I mean by that in a little bit. But basically what you'll do is you'll zip it all the way up to here, and then undo that dual zip at the bottom, slide your hammock and your suspension through that, and then what you'll get, if I can show you here, is the hammock will actually run through the sleeping bag. Yeah, and that effectively creates a sort of pod system, which is actually very comfortable. I'm going to try this probably in another video without the structural ridgeline, because as I said, I can't do a diagonal lay with this. There isn't a huge amount of air space between this actual sleeping bag and my hammock, so that's another concern, which is why I think it would work best without the structural ridgeline that I have here. So I will be trying that in another video. It's a pain to take the structural ridgeline off and on again. So what I'm going to do now is show you guys how I actually got it through. As I said, you do need a dual zip. It works best with one. You can probably rig one up without, but just for simplicity's sake, a dual zip is best, because you can create that hole whilst keeping the sleeping bag shut. And you know, as you can see, I can zip this up to make a nice cocoon around myself. Yeah, so as you can see, I've zipped this up over my structural ridgeline, and it's underneath my hammock as well, so if you can see that there. So I've got my ground sheet down here. I have the sleeping bag wrapped around my entire hammock. As I said, I've ran it through the suspension in the hammock itself, and after it's all zipped up, I can have a nice cozy night in this little cocoon that I've made. So yeah, it is very comfortable. One thing that I would say is you will have to hike it up. So this one actually has little tabs that you can use to hang up to, you know, dry it and stuff. I've just put the remainder of my whoopee sling through that, and that helps it hike it up, so the whole thing won't run down this way, and it stays towards my feet. It is a pretty good sleeping bag, to be honest. I got two of them for £17 at Sports Direct. I think this is the Hebog Classic 200. This is the envelope version. They do a mummy version of this, but I got the envelope version because I can unzip it, use it as a top coat, and I can also make a cocoon of it. I could probably do an underquilt as well when I do winter hammocking. Okay, so now we're at the bottom of this system. So as I said before, it is a double zipped sleeping bag, so it's going to be hard to show you this. You have the zip that runs all the way up, so there you can see the entire thing. It is quite dark, so sorry about that. Yeah, so here we have that little tab there for hanging it up to dry and stuff like that, and I've just tied a little bit of cord that's on my hammock sleeve to that to stop it running down all the way. So yeah, so you can see that there. That's not really going anywhere. That's not going to travel all the way down in the middle of the night, which is definitely a handy thing. I've also zipped it up probably as much as I can, just to sort of hold it in place a bit more, and that really helps because it stays at my feet here. So my feet are around about here when I'm in the hammock, and it's a nice closed gap there, so there's not going to be any air running in, because it is a bit windy today, so there's not going to be air running in there and making my feet cold during the night. So that'll give me a nice comfortable night's sleep. So you can see the entire setup there, and the zip runs along the top. You could probably switch this around so the zip's on the side or the bottom, you know, whichever is comfortable for you. But I definitely recommend this. Do it without the structural ridgeline though, just to have a little air gap beneath you to you know, to warm up with your body heat, and that'll definitely keep you a lot warmer. This sleeping bag's rated for 7 degrees, 7 or 8, which is the comfort rating. I think it's rated for 5 at the limit. I always go by the comfort because I don't like being at limit. I've done a winter camp in -5 in a 5-degree bag. It's not fun, let me tell you that. Yeah, so 5-degree bag, -5, -8 actually with the wind and all the snow. It's not very fun. So I always go by the comfort ratings, and I think that's a good policy because I like being comfortable when I sleep. That's just personal preference. I don't like freezing. Yeah, so this is the Gillert Hebog Classic 200. This is the envelope version. Sports Direct has both the envelopes, so the flat rectangular one and the mummy version. I'm going to try this with a mummy sleeping bag that I have. I'll be doing another video on that. I'll see if it works or not. We'll go for that journey together. But yeah, I'd say this definitely works. I'm going to try it without the structural ridgeline though, and see how it is. I can probably pin up the bottom of the top end with another bungee or something like that to sort of cinch it in. But yeah, it's a lot cheaper than an underquilt. I can tell you that. £17 for 2 of these. It's pretty good, to be honest, because you buy one, sell the other. That's what I did. And you can just use it as a pod system. You can buy the 2 of them. You can keep them. Use one as a top quilt. Rig the other one up as an underquilt. Yeah, that's all for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to work on making more sort of budget bushcrafting camping videos, and yeah, because we all know money's tight right now, especially with what's going on in the world, but it's always good to save some pennies. So that's all for today, guys. I'll see you in the next video.